On today's episode of Homes Explained, we're taking a closer look at one of the most popular architectural styles of the past decade, the modern farmhouse. Loved for its warmth, simplicity, and timeless curb appeal, it's a style that bridges old and new, rustic and refined. We'll explore where the style came from, what defines it inside and out, and why it continues to resonate with homeowners and builders across the country. And stay with me to the end because I'll test your eye to see if you can spot a true farmhouse from all the fakers. The modern farmhouse traces its roots to the 18th and 19th centuries, when early American settlers built simple, practical homes from whatever materials they could get their hands on: timber, stone, clapboard. These houses were shaped by necessity. Gable roofs shed rain and snow, wide porches offered shade, and large windows encouraged cross-ventilation long before air conditioning. Over time, that no-nonsense architecture became a visual shorthand for comfort, honesty, and connection to the land. Fast forward to the late 20th century, designers began reviving the image of the farmhouse for modern life. As suburban growth surged in the 1990s and early 2000s, open layouts replaced small rooms, reclaimed wood met quartz countertop, and rustic farms were paired with crisp modern finishes. By the 2010s, fueled by design television and social media, the modern farmhouse became a national favourite. Its appeal lies in that balance between nostalgia and practicality, familiar yet current, rural yet refined, and adaptable anywhere from the countryside of Tennessee to new suburbs across America. After decades of change, the modern farmhouse has settled into a look that's instantly recognisable, clean, timeless, and rooted in rural tradition. So let's take a look at some of the defining exterior features. Form and shape are the first clues to this architectural style. Most modern farmhouses have a simple rectangular footprint and a steep gable roofline, often with two front-facing gables that give the home a sense of balance and order. The symmetry isn't perfect or formal, but it creates an impression of harmony that feels both familiar and grounded, and this modern geometry, borrowed from early American farm structures, gives the style its visual strength. The next identifying feature is the materials and the colour that defines them. Modern farmhouses often combine board and batten with horizontal lap siding, a mix that adds depth, and these exteriors are almost always white. A crisp, bright finish that reflects light beautifully and makes even modest homes feel larger and more open. The white siding has become so iconic that it's practically shorthand for this architectural style, creating the perfect backdrop for black windows and warm wooden accents. Roofing plays a big role too, because most modern farmhouses use standing seam metal in either black, charcoal, or galvanised steel. They're practical, long-lasting and low maintenance, but they also give that unmistakable barn-inspired silhouette. Of course, no farmhouse would be complete without the porch, wide and welcoming, supported by simple square or tapered posts. It's also one of the few places where colour makes a quiet appearance. In the south, you'll often see the ceiling painted haint blue, a relic of the southern architectural style. Originally, the colour was designed to ward off evil spirits as well as insects, but over time, it became a hallmark of southern porches. Windows are another defining feature. They're usually tall and narrow, framed in black to stand out against all the white siding and board and batten. And you'll often see a mix of sizes and placements, sometimes grouped together, sometimes standing alone, designed less for strict balance and more about bringing natural light deep into the interior of the farmhouse. And their simple grid patterns echo the look of old barns and utility buildings, tying modern features back to rural roots. And finally, lighting. You'll often see barn-style sconces or gooseneck lamps flanking the entry or the garage. These features are typically matte black or bronze, echoing the colour of the roof and the windows for a cohesive finish. Whether illuminating a front porch, a walkway, or a detached garage, the lighting feels honest and utilitarian, another design detail borrowed from the working farms that inspired this architectural style. Stepping inside, the same sense of calm simplicity continues, and layout comes first because these homes almost always feature open floor plans that blend the kitchen, dining and living area into one cohesive space. And it's a deliberate shift away from the compartmentalised rooms of traditional farmhouses, designed instead for modern living and easy connection. High vaulted ceilings, often accented with exposed beams and trusses, add a sense of volume while keeping the focus on honest structure. When it comes to materials, natural and reclaimed elements play a starring role. Wide plank hardwood floors, painted shiplap, and matte black metal accents add warmth and texture to an otherwise minimalist interior. Every surface feels tactile and authentic, designed to look better as it ages. The colour palette is deliberately soft and neutral. White, warm greys and gentle taupes set the tone, while wood, stone and woven fabrics add organic depth. It's a look meant to feel timeless and grounded rather than trendy or current. And at the heart of it all is the kitchen, spacious, social and functional. Oversized islands anchor the space, surrounded by shaker cabinetry and quartz or marble countertops, as well as the signature farmhouse sink. Statement lighting above and generous windows around make this the true gathering place. The modern farmhouse has become one of the most recognisable architectural styles of the 21st century, a design embraced by homeowners, builders and designers who wanted something both classic and current. What began as a nostalgic return to simplicity developed into a broader movement blending rural charm with modern ease. And really uniquely, unlike historic styles that shaped whole neighbourhoods such as the ranch or the bungalow, modern farmhouses tend to appear as individual builds, custom homes or standout properties within newer developments. And that individuality is part of its appeal, where each one feels personal rather than a formula that's repeated across every street in every neighbourhood. And its real power lies in how it makes people feel relaxed, grounded and connected to something authentic. The spirit behind the hallmark features of the white board and batten, the black windows and the shiplap interior is one of warmth, honesty and the comfort of a home that feels genuine. And today the style is evolving once again. We're starting to see less contrast, more natural materials and a softer palette, edging towards more of an organic modern design. Yet the modern farmhouse remains influential because it distilled something essential, that good design can be simple, familiar and deeply human. By now, you've seen how the modern farmhouse balances modern living with the soul of rural design. But can you tell when a home truly fits the style or when it's just borrowing the look? Let's put your eye to the test with the following quiz. Okay, so here is your first image. Take a look at this and let me know, do you think this is a genuine modern farmhouse and what are the features that identify it as such? So I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so if you said yes, you are correct. This is indeed a genuine modern farmhouse. It's got the standing seam roof, it's got the white board and batten, and actually under the front window on the left-hand side, you can see it's got the horizontal siding. It doesn't have a massive porch, but it's still got a small porch at the front. It's got the black framed windows with the grids, and also notice the kind of random placement of the windows, and they're all kind of different sizes. There's not much symmetry there, and that also is kind of a defining feature of the farmhouse. What else? It's not exactly symmetrical, but it does have the two front-facing gables. So if you said yes, you are correct. This is indeed a modern farmhouse. Now here is your second image. Take a look at this. Same thing. Let me know if you think this is a modern farmhouse. Shout it out. I can hear you. Okay, so if you said no, which hopefully you did, you are correct. This is not a modern farmhouse. This is probably a cross between a Georgian colonial and a southern style architectural home. Although it is white, it's got the white everywhere, it looks to me to be a painted brick, and it's got the very strong symmetry, which always think colonial when you see such strong imagery that you could kind of draw a line in the middle and flip the house over. So to me, it looks like it's a Georgian. It's got window shutters everywhere, which you don't typically see on a modern farmhouse. It does have the big porch at the front, which is kind of a relic of the southern architectural style. And you'll notice too that the roof on the porch is a standing seam roof, but don't let that throw you, because if you look at the main roof, that just looks to be like an architectural shingle roof. The roof itself looks to be hipped, which means it kind of comes down on all four sides, plus it's got the dormer windows. So this is definitely not a modern farmhouse. Next image. Is this the interior of a modern farmhouse? So I'll give you a couple of seconds. Let me know what you think. Okay, so this is actually quite a difficult one. Now, it's got the white everywhere, which is in keeping with the modern farmhouse, very light colour schemes, the pales, the neutral tones. It's got the very wide plank, light wooden flooring. It's got big windows, but the windows, although they're dark around the frames, they don't have the black grids growing across. Look at the lighting. You've got track lighting going around the living room of this home. That's quite a modern feature. That's not typically a modern farmhouse lighting. So the artwork also seems very modern. Now, obviously, you can't control how someone decorates the interior of an architectural style. That's up to them. But usually people try and keep it in keeping with what the architectural style is. So I would say, no, this is not the interior of a modern farmhouse. To me, this looks more like a kind of modern home or a contemporary home. And last image, what do you think about this one? Is this interior from a modern farmhouse? Well, hopefully you said yes, because this is very much a textbook modern farmhouse. We've got the tall vaulted ceilings with the exposed trusses. We've got a lot of shiplap going on. We've got the light wooden wide planking floors. We've got the windows. I don't know if I've just said windows. And of course, we've got the very muted white colour scheme. But also look at the sconces on the wall at the very back. They also look kind of basic and farmhousey. So yes, this is definitely a modern farmhouse interior. Well, how did you do? I hope you aced the quiz. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the modern farmhouse. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It really helps me out. And I'll see you next week for more Homes Explained.